Have you ever wanted to go beyond just saying you like a wine, to really truly understand it, speak its language, and taste it like a pro? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to demystify the whole process.
You know that exact feeling, right? You're tasting something amazing and your brain is just going, wow, that's good. You know there's so much more going on in the glass, a whole story, but you just can't find the words. It's super common and honestly, a little frustrating.
But here's the thing. The pros, the sommeliers, they aren't just guessing. They use a framework, kind of like a secret code, that lets them analyze and describe any wine with total confidence. And today, we are cracking that code, together. And this secret isn't some kind of magic talent you have to be born with. Nope, it's a structured approach, and it's built on 5 core pillars. We're going to call them the 5 keys. And once you have these keys, you can unlock the story inside any bottle. So here they are. First, complexity and intensity. We'll look at those two together. Then we've got typicity. After that, equilibrium. And we'll finish with persistence. This is our roadmap for today. You're going to see how each key builds on the last to paint a complete picture of a wine.
All right, let's jump in with our first 2 keys. These are all about the wine's aromatic story. They really boil down to 2 simple but absolutely crucial questions. What am I actually smelling and tasting here? And just how powerful is it?
Okay, so first up, complexity. Think of this as the depth of the plot. A really simple wine might just have one main character, like cherry. But a complex wine, it has a whole cast of characters, multiple layers of flavor that reveal themselves over time. It's the kind of wine that keeps you guessing, showing you something new with every single sip.
And this complexity isn't just random either. These aromas actually show up in 3 distinct waves. You've got your primary aromas, which come right from the grape itself. We're talking fruits, flowers, that kind of thing. Then, secondary aromas are created during fermentation, and that's where you get notes like yeast or brioche. And finally, tertiary aromas, which develop as a wine ages. This is where the really cool, sophisticated stuff like leather, tobacco, or mushroom comes in.
Now for our second key, intensity. Look, if complexity is what the wine is saying, intensity is how loudly it's saying it. Is it a subtle whisper of aromas, or does it literally jump out of the glass and grab you by the nose? This is all about the power, the sheer concentration of those flavors.
And this is so important to remember. A wine can absolutely be one without the other. For instance, you could have a delicate old Burgundy that is incredibly complex with dozens of faint, subtle notes. But on the other hand, you could have a young, simple wine that has just one big, loud, powerful flavor, like a huge blast of tropical fruit. The key takeaway here is that complexity and intensity are 2 totally separate things.
Okay, let's move on to our third key. This one is all about authenticity. It's where we start asking, is this wine true to its roots? Does it taste like where it comes from? And that concept is called typicity. It's basically a measure of how well a wine shows off the classic characteristics of its grape and its specific home, what the French famously call terroir. You can think of it as the wine's fingerprint. A wine with great typicity tastes exactly like you'd hope it would, based on what it is and where it's from.
This really helps make it concrete. So, if you're tasting a Sauvignon Blanc, you're looking for those zesty citrus notes, maybe some passion fruit, or that classic fresh-cut grass smell. For a Pinot Noir, you're expecting red fruits like cherry and raspberry, and maybe some earthy notes. And for a big Cabernet Sauvignon, that signature black currant, cedar, and spice. When a wine delivers those flavors right on cue, we say it has excellent typicity.
All right, on to our final 2 keys. Now, these are often seen as the ultimate signs of a really well-made, high-quality wine. They answer 2 big questions. First, is everything in the wine working together in perfect harmony? And second, does that beautiful taste stick around? So let's tackle that first question. We hear the word balanced thrown around all the time with wine. But what does that actually mean? What makes a wine balanced?
You know what? The answer is beautifully simple. A balanced wine is one where nothing is jarring, nothing is out of whack. No single element, not the tartness, not the alcohol, not the sweetness, is screaming for all the attention. Everything just works together. And that harmony comes from the interplay of these 4 key things. You've got acidity, which gives a wine life and freshness, sweetness, which can balance out that acidity, tannins, which give red wines that structure and texture, and finally, alcohol, which gives the wine its weight or body. In a truly great balanced wine, these 4 are locked in a perfect, elegant dance.
And that brings us to our fifth and final key, persistence. You'll also hear this called the finish or the length, and it's exactly what it sounds like. How long can you still taste all those pleasant flavors after you've taken a sip? It's like the wine's sensory afterglow.
So, what's a good benchmark to aim for? Well, a lot of pros will tell you that a finish that lasts for more than 10 seconds, that's the sign of a seriously good wine. Because, think about it, a long, beautiful finish doesn't just happen by accident. It's a direct result of amazing grapes and really skillful winemaking. It means the flavors are concentrated and perfectly woven together. Simply put, if that flavor sticks around, you are probably drinking a very, very well-crafted wine.
And just like that, the code is cracked. It's not a secret anymore. You now have the 5 keys that the pros use to understand and talk about any wine they come across.
So the next time you pour a glass, use this toolkit. Ask yourself these questions. How complex is it and how intense? Is it showing good typicity? Is everything in equilibrium? And how long is that persistence? I promise, this simple framework will completely change the way you taste wine.
Because every single wine really does have a story to tell about its grape, its home, the person who made it, and now you have the language to listen. So the only question left is, what story will your next glass of wine tell you?